Hey, I'm Spenser.
And I'm Britt.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 283 albums in his Pikes series, and we're going to listen to them.
3 at a time.
This is Gettin Head,
a Bucketcast.
All right. We're here. We're in it.
Hey, how you doing, dog?
I'm doing, dude. Tell me what's new? What have you been doing?
What's new? Not a whole lot. Today's my day off. I'm going to a normie Monday through Friday schedule.
Holy shit.
Starting this week, and so got Saturday and Sunday off, and then I actually got this Monday off too because I got a mental health day ahead.
Love to see that.
I mean, yeah. I got a ton in the bank
these days. In short supply.
The crazy thing is, so because of like COVID, everything became like so tight and understaffed, and they gave us a ton of these mental health days, but like no one in the store has been able to use them because we've been so understaffed, and all the managers are like, we can't afford to not to have you here.
Yeah,
and it's really difficult, but I've got a bunch of them banked. Maybe I'll just take a little vacation.
Yeah.
A little week off there.
Ooh, haha. It's a good time. Nice. Yeah. I've been, today is my 10th day off in a row.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, I did. It wasn't expected.
Which is why you're super hungover.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, okay, to be fair, I didn't know that I had today off as well until last night. So last night I decided to celebrate a little bit. I had a handful of brewskis.
Handful?
Yeah.
Like, I can only hold like 3 brews in my hand, so you didn't get drunk off that.
You know how many beers I drank?
What was that?
I drank 3 beers.
That's it? Really?
Yeah, only 3. That's all I needed, you know?
Really?
I drank 3 beers. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I drank 3 beers. Then I drank 2 Moscow Mules.
Oh,
and a couple of shots.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's different. Yeah.
I know it's different.
You said you drank some brewskis. I don't think the brewskis are what gave you a hangover, Spenser.
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean,
like they slightly contributed, but they were like, I mean, you're talking about the difference of like, that's like saying Ron Wood has like put the most contribution towards fucking the Stones. Like,
sure.
No.
Or like, yeah, it just be like that sometimes.
God, why am I referencing the Rolling Stones? I'm old.
Yeah, I was gonna say something
that's not
about
a
that.
Thing I do.
I was like, I don't even get that reference. I don't know who that is. Is that the drummer?
No, that's one of the other guitarists. That's not the other guy.
See,
I think, right? Or maybe it was the original bassist. Who died. I don't care. I don't care about the Rolling Stones. I just made a reference that I actually didn't get myself. Which I think, so I totally just didn't. I just didn't
metamorphosize.
I Dennis Millered you, dog. I Dennis Millered myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you should have checked yourself before that one. I feel like that,
Anything else new, interesting?
You ever been like listen to a podcast or like watch a show for a long time where they reference people and places and things and names and stuff that you don't really know what they are, like you don't really get the reference, but like the names stick in your head, so then like someone else will talk about it and you're like, oh, I know that name. Right. And then but you're like, but I have no fucking idea what that is or who that is. Like, I don't know, it happens to me a lot. I have all this information rolling around in my head. My head is like it is like a child's like toy bin. It's just filled with like fucking bullshit. There's
plastic, lots of plastic.
Yeah, just lots of like plastic, toxins, toxic plastic,
lead,
plastic.
Yeah,
lots
of things made in China going around up in there.
You lead. It's not funny. Don't laugh at that. Anywho, hit me.
What?
Hit me with a bucket.
Oh yeah.
It's your job.
I guess it is.
The job I gave you.
All right, bucket fact. Here's an interesting one.
Bucket fact.
So Buckethead has been an oft collaborator with George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic fame. Mostly making soundtrack work with him and contributing songs that were collaborations with him to Beverly Hills Ninja, Mortal Kombat
Fucking
and
sick.
Mortal Kombat
shit.
Annihilation, motherfucker. Yeah, that's
Wow,
yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah,
That's
like
so sick.
and like working with George Clinton has always been a huge honor to people, but like especially like the 80s and the 90s, he was like a kingmaker, like he helped make Red Hot Chili Peppers big,
Sure.
and I can never forgive him for that.
Damn it.
George Clinton, you're on my list, buddy.
Have you listened to the song Californication at any time recently?
Pretty recent. I listened to the whole album a couple years ago.
Oh God, why do you do that to yourself?
I'm just I don't know, like as someone who's like actually interested in like the loudness war and stuff, every time I'll go,
oh, okay, so that's why I brought it up, because that song in particular is so fucking compressed.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's like I listened to it recently because somebody brought it up on like Reddit or something, and it's like fucked up.
Well,
it's hard to listen to.
One of it is.
It's a weird,
like, especially when the bass
and not just for the regular reasons.
Not for like Anthony Kiedis
reasons.
reasons of.
Okay, so we got some albums to talk about. We got some Buckethead stuff. So we listened to three more. Do you want to tell us about each of the three? Or just name them?
So we listened to albums, the Pikes, numbers 4, 5, and 6 this week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And their names were 4 is Underground Chamber, 5 is Look Up There, and 6 is Balloon Cement.
That's our first of 2012, by the way. So we have we have now listened to Buckethead's 2011 output, and I believe.
If I'm not mistaken, Underground Chamber was released in 2011 with what is it? The 3 foot clearance, I think.
You're right. So
it was released like on the same day, I think.
Yeah, 3 foot clearance, Underground Chamber, and Look Up There, Pikes 3, 4, and 5 were all released on the same day, August 17th.
Okay, I forgot that Look Up There was, and we'll get more into that because it's kind of an outlier from the 3.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one.
Yeah,
but yeah, okay, so we listened to these 3. There was actually a pretty decent break between Look Up There and Balloon Cement. Balloon Cement came out April 14th, 2012. So like there was like pretty
what's that, 6, 8 months, something like that?
Almost 8 months, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like, that's a pretty significant amount of time, especially considering like the ramp up in 2013. Like, my goodness.
Oh, we'll get to that when we get to that, because it starts to get weird and inhuman. But
weird and inhuman is just a way to talk about.
That's true. That's like it always was, but it gets more so.
Absolutely. Yeah. You love to see it, I think.
Question mark.
I think I'm optimistic to see it, I guess, so far. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about...
wait. Aren't you a brony? So I'd say you're more cloptimistic.
Fuck up. Dude, do you remember when they did the Brony convention in Anchorage? I don't think we were living there at the time, but I'm pretty sure they did that.
I mean, that's a good place for it. Like, get far away from people who are gonna like be like. I mean, everyone who doesn't like, they're just gonna avoid that in Alaska. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that's happening. Stay away from there." And that's like, that's good. Whereas like in the South, they'd be like, "Let's go kill the pony faggots," and like it would.
I'm not. You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. Anywho, okay, so Pike number 4, Underground Chamber. An interesting Pike in the sense that every song is titled Underground Chamber with
we
a
got
number
part 1
after it.
Is track 1, part 2 is track 2 at till the end.
How many
10,
parts
10
are there?
of
I'm
them.
looking it up right now, actually. 10 parts. Okay. So Underground Chamber to me really felt like 3 foot clearance.
Yeah, it was definitely
it's very
lot of similar parts. I mean, which was interesting in that he like tried to make it more of a concept album with titling everything part 1, 2, 3, whatever.
And all the
they
songs
do,
flow
which I think is
too.
not all of them, but most of them. There's, I'd say generally the album kind of has 3 different movements altogether. But yeah, stuff actually does like make a good effort to flow together, probably more so than any of the previous 3 albums.
Yeah, I mean, like a 3 Foot Clearance, I felt like did a lot of that as well, and this one keeps that vibe going. There's a lot of electronics on this one. There's still a lot of guitar. There's a lot of like wheedly on this one too. Like a lot of that. I mean, that is a given. But I will say this: like Buckethead does not always use that. Despite the fact that he has the ability to do that super fast pentatonic.
He does have a lot.
Like, he doesn't always. Do
Another main theme musically of this album, I thought, was him like doing kill switch stuff. Just like his guitar going da 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 da, like almost like a strobing effect of just like heavy chords. And it's fine. It kind of got old on this album though.
Yeah, this one, like, I didn't dislike it. I actually haven't disliked any of the records so far. If anything, like, I'm neutral on a few of them. This is one of the ones I would say that, like, I'm neutral on it. I think I liked it
more than I liked
probably 3 Foot Clearance, if I'm being honest. It's the
heaviest album so far, I'd say. It's the most metal. There's the most, like...
So really? I felt... I disagree. I think Balloon Cement is the most metal so far.
There are, but like, I mean, as far as like thrash goes, there's a lot of like thrashy stuff and like D beats and stuff here. So part 10 was that's all thrash. Part 5 was a lot of thrash and D beats.
Yeah.
Part 4 was, but with a lot of kill switch. And other than that, there was a lot of like more electronic kind of meandering and a lot of effects. Laden stuff, but
totally a lot of like there are a lot of like sections where it would like break out into like just it sounded like sequenced stuff, like sequenced synthesizers and drum machines, that sort of stuff. This one was good.
Actually, it was okay. Let's back up a little bit here. Who do you think Buckethead makes music for? Like what do you think he thinks his audience is? Because like
question.
I wrote that as a note at this album because it's like surprisingly the first time I've really thought of this. Like, wait, who is this for? And it's like something that like has like killed a lot of projects that I've been a part of before. Like I'll have that thought and I'm like, this music is for like literally nobody but me, and I don't know if anyone is gonna like it, so I should just stop it.
So you're totally not wrong. And that is a really, really valid question. And like, honestly, that was like a big motivator behind why I wanted to find someone to listen to these fucking albums with me. Because like dude, who releases 283 albums in a couple years? Like who does that?
It's like someone who releases that many books and like I mean, if he's taking the piss out of everything and he thinks music is just funny and that's why he's doing it, then I think I kind of get it, because then he's like a Chuck Tingle. Are you familiar with Chuck Tingle? Yeah, the novelist and who just like is prolific and writes a ton of fucking novels, but they're all fucking bullshit, like beyond Sharknado titles. Like I think one of them was like a recent one was like Candy Corn Witch Sluts of Halloween or something, and there was like happy birthday Dracula, now fuck my butt.
That's actually great. Like I want to do that. I mean, I've said that sentence before, you know. Who hasn't? Okay, that sounds great. So like honestly, you're right. Like I have no idea who this music is for. I feel like this project started out with the perspective of like, hey, I'm going to make these solo albums and I have like kind of an idea for what I'm going to do. Like the very first album is very like traditional, like very metal, very like it's just guitar, drums, bass, very simple, very like thrashy. And then it has definitely like gone to a different expanded like into some very different stuff. And like I would say that this selection here is probably the most unique we've seen so far. I mean, we've only done one before this.
Out of really? Whoa, that's wow, really? It's more unique than the other three.
This three is more unique than the other three. And yes, I see
I would agree. Doing. I would agree. Question for you: What do you think this would be a good soundtrack to? Like what kind of vibe does it give you? Like,
so this one gave me like a dark 80s vibe of it, even though it doesn't sound like 80s music at all.
Yeah, it's not like, it gave super me the vibe synthy, of like, but yeah, I still get that. Yeah.
It gave me the vibe of like a hobo with a shotgun type of movie.
Okay.
Is like what I would see this being the soundtrack to.
Okay.
Something with a lot of like splatter, like a lot of like violence and like a trashy kind of vibe.
Yeah, there's
like I don't know, like this music isn't trashy, but it's just like if I was to see it set to any kind of film, like that's what I would be thinking.
Okay, yeah, I could agree with that, and I definitely add that like this is probably the least funky of the albums thus far.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of like synth envelopes for guitar and stuff like that, but I don't know if any of the songs was really like rooted in bass, and that's where like his funk really comes through because like he mostly plays slap bass when he like composes with bass. I don't think that really happened much at all on this.
Not much.
It was pretty metal, pretty like experimental, kind of electronic and effects laden. Pretty good. Yeah. I'd actually kind of say it would an indie first person shooter is what I'd put this with. It was
interesting. Maybe like one of those games that is like emulating.
Yeah, because it was shooters. Like there was this kind of like updated like Doom kind of thing. You know, like like maybe an 8-bit first person shooter type thing because it does have a very it does have a vibe of nostalgic, you know, composition, like, and it's definitely very metal in a very like 80s and 90s way. Which is, you know, he's good at, and like he played lead track on one of the songs in the original Power Rangers movie, which is like the most 90s metal thing you can do, right?
It's a great bucket fact right there.
It is. I probably should have saved that one. But I thought you might have already known that. But yeah, so like this kind of almost gives me that type of vibe, like 90s action for sure.
Tight. Yeah, absolutely.
So the next album, which is I've actually been I don't know about you. I've been stoked to talk about this album specifically and not the other albums. And I actually mentioned before, like, there's one album that's a real outlier. And I imagine we're going to find other Pikes like this. But this Pike, specifically, number 5, Look Up There, is my favorite Pike so far.
Honestly, like I think I would agree with you. Like it's the most unique. It has a 20-minute guitar solo in the second song, which is fucking awesome. Like it's actually like really good. I really liked it. Like it was really fun to listen to. But like it's definitely like different. It's more chill. It's like there's some acoustic guitar in there. Yeah, it's really nice. Most important thing to know, though, it is only 2 songs long.
Correct.
So it is 32 minutes and 29 seconds. The first song is like around 10 minutes long, and then the second song is about 20 minutes long, something like that. Really fun. Definitely goes some places. It's cool to see him just like make a thing. Yeah. I found it really like enjoyable to listen to.
Me too.
I didn't get bored.
And so one of the notes I wrote here is this type of album is what happens when Buckethead takes his ADHD medication. Because it actually like has a very consistent direction. It doesn't. I mean, it's not too weird. It's
it's not very weird at all. And there's like very few like wheedlies on it. I mean, they're there.
No, yeah,
it's like I wrote like melodic, like like just like making melodies, like which is cool.
So I'm actually just gonna read off. I'm I'd usually not read my notes because they're so extensive, but because it's just two songs, I'm gonna.
Mr. Extensive Notes. I don't usually read my notes. They're too extensive. Let me tell you.
I'm sorry, my notes are too good for this podcast, but like they're better in written form. I'm going to, at the end of this podcast, I'll publish them
in the show notes
for readers, but listeners get a different experience. The first track on Look Up There, Golden Eyes, off the bat, I already, at the very beginning of listening to the song, I already preferred the production on the track to like everything else in the Pike series. It's just like really full, and there's a lot of ambience to it. Like a lot of very like subtle keyboards, subtle like guitar parts, stuff like that. Really nice melodies, not a ton of random super shreddy solos, and just like altogether like decent, reasonable songwriting.
Yeah, reasonable is a good way of putting this. It definitely feels more chill.
Yeah,
like there have been moments, I think that there were a couple of moments on like Empty Space that were somewhat similar.
Yeah.
But this one definitely, he really explores that more mellow side.
Right.
Maybe not as mellow as something like Electric Tears, like one of his older.
Oh, definitely not.
Like,
no, like nothing.
It's like almost it's definitely like a more chill vibe.
And that's the thing. I don't know about you, but I'm not expecting anything like Electric Tears out of any of these Pikes. Like I'm expecting moments like that, but Electric Tears is like such a thought out album. Like it's so concentrated, and I think he had a fucking idea of exactly what he was doing, and I don't have that expectation with these Pikes, because
I feel like
if you're recording an album, 300 of them, or 280 whatever, you're not gonna have that concentration and the time to think about things. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like these records feel very stream of consciousness, in nature.
Right.
Like, I would say that especially like of the group we're talking about today, like Underground Chamber felt very like stream of consciousness. Like I'm adding parts to this thing, and it's like becoming this thing.
And we've both obviously definitely made music like that before. I mean, that is a process.
Yeah, totally. It is. It's a legitimate process.
It is. Sometimes I make great stuff. Some of my best stuff with that process, probably just like laboriously adding elements in order to like fill something out. That's great. But sometimes that, if you just don't have an idea of where the music is going,
that is correct.
It doesn't go anywhere.
So as far as the soundtrack goes, describe this one to me. What are you thinking?
So there's a lot more like ambient, and so this one actually feels like a solid like licensed soundtrack, like someone paid for a soundtrack to something. Honestly, like this is I'm gonna say a great like mod to Half-Life, just a Half-Life mod,
just a Half-Life 1 source mod, original source.
No, we're gonna go with Half-Life 2, definitely.
Okay,
Half-Life 2 mod.
Yeah,
but just
like a story driven thing?
Oh yeah, definitely, because there's like in like stuff with cues, because there's definitely like diversity here, and there's definitely like parts that fit better with other parts. So like, I could see like actual parts being like when the action starts, like this queued up for that. And actually,
I would definitely say like, I got an indie game kind of vibe from it. Like for me, what came to mind was something like, did you ever play Bastion? Play that game? No, it's okay. It's a good game. It's a game I like a lot. It has a really good soundtrack of its own, but I would say that a soundtrack like this would also fit a game like that. It's cool in that there are acoustic guitars.
I do
used in a way I don't hate.
I do love acoustic guitar, and I really, really like Buckethead playing acoustic guitar.
He's very like good Buckethead playing acoustic guitar too.
He's like, I don't know. In my opinion, he's better at it than the electric guitar because he brings something to acoustic guitar you don't hear often. But what he brings to electric guitar, I hear done often or tried to be done very often.
That is
and
true.
And like when he plays acoustic guitar, he plays it in such a unique way Whereas when he plays electric guitar, I guess it's kind of unique, but in a way I don't love.
Sure.
Like the shreddy pentatonic stuff.
Yeah,
is not a thing that I love.
I'm also gonna. Yeah, I'm not huge on the really fast, shreddy pentatonic stuff either. Like, because here's the thing about Buckethead, like he can write some killer melodies. Like,
and that's the thing. Yeah, he's a beautiful melody writer, and so like when he just goes
to write more melodies.
Yeah,
like,
and harmonies. Like,
melodies. Like,
I want him to be more musical, straight up. Like, and sometimes he's just like he goes with a feel for a thing, and it's just like a D beat, and just. I'm like, all right. I mean, I know you can do better. And I've seen you do that a lot. So
totally
do something. Yeah,
indubitably.
But I mean, he's still great.
I gotta talk about acoustic guitars for a minute though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing that I don't like about music. Okay, it's like I'm pretty positive about most musical genres.
I'm sorry. Can I interrupt you real quick? Is it Wonderwall?
No, bro, you're my Wonderwall.
Oh, bro. I fucking hate that song. Don't say that shit to me. Fuck you, dog.
Awesome.
Don't talk that shit on me. Don't step up to me like that. Come on, dog. Like if I'm your Wonderwall, you're my fucking piano man. All right.
Fuck. Bill Joel sucks.
Yeah, right. Don't fucking call me your Wonderwall. Fuck you.
Hate you, Bill Joel. Anyways, like there's a subgenre of music. I honestly don't know what it's called. I'm sure there's a real name for it. It's probably like indie folk or something like that.
Yeah.
But the genre of music where it's just sad guy with acoustic guitar who sings and plays acoustic guitar, I can't fucking stand it, dude. Like it just like makes my skin crawl. Like I just hate it.
Like what do you mean? Like they're give an example, I guess, because
literally any band that is just one guy and an acoustic guitar. Like
about like
except
Nick Drake,
except for Sue George.
So
or I don't know how to pronounce his name actually.
Right, I think.
Oh wow, yeah. Except for him, he's the only one that can pass.
How about
all the rest?
Really? How about Nick Drake?
I have the only Nick Drake song I've ever heard is Red Right Hand.
That's a good one, but listen to Pink Moon. Pink Moon, the album is gorgeous, and it's like it's a guy who wants to die and kind of has his death planned out, and he writes an album kind of tangentially about that, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, it's one of the best albums. Who else?
Okay, like that. No, I've been meaning to listen to more Nick Drake. Like I'm open to that. I'm always open to checking stuff out.
Elliot Smith, dog. I know you probably are turned off by Elliot Smith because of his fan base, but dude wrote some great fucking songs.
Sure, and I'm not hating. I'm not hating.
Before Paul Simon was solo, like Paul Simon and Garfunkel fucking rules.
I like Simon and Garfunkel.
But it's a guy with an acoustic guitar and then one other guy.
No. But dude, they have like a band backing.
Sometimes, but their best songs are just a guy with an acoustic guitar and then another guy without an acoustic guitar.
I don't know, man. See, I'm talking about bands that are exclusively guys.
I mean, I get it. Like
exclusively, no backing band ever. Just one dude.
Colin Hay.
I can't do it.
From Men at Work. Okay. He's amazing.
I know who Colin Hay is. I do like Colin Hay. But specifically, there is. Okay, that doesn't count. Specifically, though, like there is a subgenre of music.
Yeah, I get it. You don't like acoustic singer-songwriter stuff so much, and I get that. But there is a time and place for it, and like some of your favorite artists are acoustic singer-songwriters who. That's their like songwriting process, but they realize, like Chris Isaac.
That's okay. I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'm not
have you ever heard Chris Isaac played acoustic?
I have. It's great. It's wonderful. I love him. He's amazing.
He's the best.
He is truly
such
great.
a crush on that guy.
I got to see half of a show of his, and it was amazing.
I got to see a full show.
He's really good. And then I drank some wine with some doctors. That was a weird day.
Oh, did you see him at Chateau Saint Michel as well?
I did. But okay,
Me too.
Have I told you this story? Because it's fucked up. Okay, so
No,
check this out. So I went to go see Chris Isaac last, I want to say last September.
Yeah.
About a year ago. I went with my mom. My mom really wanted to go see him because she likes him a lot, and I like him a lot too. And so we have that in common. We're like, cool.
Chris Isaac.
I was like, cool, yeah. I was like, cool, let's go in Chris Isaac. That'll be sick. So we went out there to go see it. It's at this winery called Chateau Saint Michel, Woodinville, Washington, and I'd never been there before. They have a really nice outdoor area. I would say that they could fit probably anywhere from maybe about 500 to 800, maybe 1,000 people. I don't know how many people were there. I would guess 800 maybe, but I don't know. Anywho, they only sell wine. They only sell wine and water, bottles of water. It's all they had to buy. So I bought a bottle of rosé, right? And I bought okay, let's go back a little bit. We got there, got inside. We go and find a spot to watch the concert from. We got there a little bit late, so there was already a lot of people there, and the concert was about to start. So I walked over and I bought a bottle of rosé, walked back, and we're getting ready to watch the show. Pretty stoked. We each have a cup of rosé, and we're drinking the rosé. It's really good rosé, actually. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Chilling, watching the show. Show's starting. It's really great. He plays 4 songs. Mm-hmm. Then the sky starts erupting in thunder and lightning. And lightning starts striking around the venue, not at the venue particular, but very close by. And so they closed the show. They stopped the show.
Rained out like a baseball game.
Well, so it hadn't started raining yet, but it did start raining right after that. They were like, hey, we're going to stop the show and see if the lightning stops because we don't want anybody to get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Reasonable. Sure.
Sure.
So they had everybody go inside the actual winery itself. The winery was not open up until this point, but they opened the doors of the winery to let us in there. And so they had us all go in there. And so it was standing room only, right? Because the winery is not enormous. It's big, but it's not.
I mean, the winery is, but the area they probably opened up to you was the gift shop area and shit, probably, right?
Yeah. So, there were multiple buildings, right? Yeah. We were in one of the buildings.
Yeah.
But I would say they probably crammed at least a couple hundred people into this relatively small building. And the rain got fucking insane. As we were walking into this building, the rain was really getting crazy. The thunder was getting crazy. The lightning was getting crazy. So we go in there and we're just waiting. We ended up waiting in there for approximately 2.5 hours.
Shit.
Because every half hour or so, somebody would come in and be like, hey, we're gonna wait a little bit longer and see if we can restart the show. And it's pouring down rain. No. It is it's flooding, basically. It's insane.
I mean, that's cool of them to actually try to keep the show going.
So that's what I thought too, until we'd been waiting for about an hour or so. And so at that point, my mom was like, I don't want any rosé. And I was like, cool. And I drank the rest of the rosé. I was feeling pretty good. And then there are all these doctors there. Because everybody that goes to see Chris Isaac is rich old white people. That's who goes to see Chris
That's
Isaac.
Everyone who goes to Chateau Saint
winery,
Michel,
right?
Right? It's mostly East Side folks. And I live over here on the East Side. And it's the bougiest bullshit ever in your life.
No, I know. As someone who lived in their van in Kirkland.
You did. You lived.
I did.
Yeah, you lived. Yeah. You lived on the street outside here.
I've definitely slept in my car in Kirkland multiple times too.
And the Kirkland cops, I mean, they're not as big a dicks as Seattle cops, I don't think.
I don't know. They
have less to do than Seattle cops. So.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah. So we're crammed inside. There's all these doctors. All these people start giving me wine. They're like, hey, you want to try this wine? I'm like, yeah. Of course. So we're all drinking wine and I was getting pretty drunk. Mm-hmm. And then so it had probably been about, I guess, no, we were probably inside for about 2 hours. Because after about 2 hours, one of the security people for the venue, these were the people that were like informing us of what was going on with the show, comes into the venue and just like, or not the venue, sorry, comes into the building and just says like, you all need to leave right now. And then somebody was like, hey, wait, what? And then like, they were like, you need to get the fuck out right now. Go. And then like, they open the doors and then they start literally yelling at us like, go. Like being absolute assholes, like just like yelling at us. And I was like, it was like out of nowhere, dude. I was like, what is happening? And then like everybody started getting like really weirded out after that. And like everybody made like a panic run to the exit. And then it was like fucking crazy getting out of there, dude. There's like all these people and they're all like freaking out. And like, it was like pouring out rain. There's like lightning striking, dude. It was fucked up, man. Anyways, we got out of there. It was fine. The show was canceled and we ended up getting, I think we got refunded. No, we didn't get refunded. They gave us replacement tickets to another show, and I couldn't make it because I was in Alaska. So blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But
yeah, balloon cement.
Balloon cement.
Sixth Pike. Yeah,
the sixth Pike.
A little different.
First things first. Yeah, a little bit different. Some really fast double kicks.
Yeah,
double kicks.
Yeah, some a little more.
Like that. That was pretty fun.
I'd say diversity in genre selection. Like the first song starts out, it's like a straight up kind of like a blues metal song. Like very like, I don't know, it fit in probably pretty well with something like Hank 3 or maybe like earlier Danzig stuff. Like it's some cool riffage.
I know it goes some places that you've got some like weird like techno metal sounding stuff with like fast double kicks, and then you've got some metal riffing, you got some like bluesy guitar solo-y stuff, you got some wheelies.
A lot more bass than the other two albums on this one too.
More bass.
Like, a lot more like a lot more bass.
Still not very funky though. Like we haven't returned to
the first three albums were much funkier than these three, I'd say, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. No.
I would like to see more funk. Honestly, I'm a fan of the funk. You might say I'm down with the funk. Yeah, I would say I am.
Yeah.
But that being said, this one has quite a few tracks on it. I think there's like 13 tracks. 12 tracks.
12, I believe. And like most of them are very short. A couple longer songs, I think track 10 and 11 are like significantly longer than every other track on the album. Like it's 2 or 3 minute tracks. Then you got a couple 5-minute tracks, and that's about
and a lot of the songs do like kind of blend into each other, which helps the flow, which is nice. Definitely, I felt like this one was very much in the vein of maybe It's Alive, kind of.
It definitely did remind me of the first album. I did put that as a note.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of diversity, a lot of like sorry guitar stuff, shreddy guitar stuff.
Yep.
It is a kind of like a showcase of like basically what Buckethead's all about, just like the first Pike.
Totally.
It's Alive. Just a whole lot of his talents and a whole lot of his musical ideas. Nothing super
groundbreaking,
standoutish.
yeah. Like, I mean, he's not breaking new ground here. He's not making huge changes, but I feel like it was a solid entry. It's definitely like one thing that I will commend him for here. One thing I would like to commend him for, I guess I should say, is that each of these does feel like an album. Like it feels like a constructed piece of music.
These last two more so than anything, and that makes me excited for the other Pikes because I feel like he's getting a better idea of how to make like album efforts. Because even though like Underground Chamber is, I think, technically like the most of concepty of these albums, besides maybe Look Up There because that's only 2 songs, but Underground Chamber, it's Underground Chamber Part 1, Underground Chamber Part 2, Underground Chamber Part 3, which tells me it was supposed to be like a really concerned, concentrated effort. And it doesn't feel that way so much as Look Up There and Balloon Cement. Yeah, I don't know. Like Balloon Cement actually feels much more cohesive though, even though it doesn't have that,
I agree.
Part 2,
and
part 3.
The diversity helps it too. It makes it more interesting for sure. Like there's definitely like this was unlike. Well, I would say that each of these records have had their moments, but this one in particular had a few moments where I looked down and was like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, this is
Oh.
interesting. Or like it caught my attention,
Yeah,
I guess, a few more times.
And I think he used like a few more effects on here that he didn't really use before. Like,
yeah, there was a lot of effectsy sounding stuff. Like there were a lot of leads where like I wasn't sure if it was a guitar or a synth.
right. No, he definitely
layer,
used like I think a lot of synth envelopes, maybe like bit crusher pedals or something. Like there was a lot of really synthy sounding guitar stuff. Like big box.
I mean, it sounds
guitar shit.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good impression of what it sounds
like.
like.
A guitar turned a little bit like syn wave or like triangle wave.
Yeah, like I will say, like all of these albums do feel very DAW though. Like they feel very like I made this.
Oh, 100%. Oh, like, there's so much copying and pasting.
I sat down,
especially for bass. The bass is the most copy pasted shit ever. Like. I don't think that Buckethead honestly played bass for more than 8 measures in a row on any of
I mean,
these
I don't do that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think you're probably right. Like, I mean, that's how you make music in a DAW, dude.
I mean, it is, but I do the same thing with guitar, but I don't with bass because I feel like bass actually adds like a little more subtlety to music.
That's an interesting point, and I actually agree. Like when I record bass, I try to record like for as many sections as possible at one time, just because it does like if the bass flows, it helps the music. Like it definitely helps the music. Like it does. It's good.
It does. Like doing a single track of bass is, I think, the best way to do bass, just because it has this interesting flow to everything, and it makes the whole song sound
good
authentic.
Bass player
is the thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, bass player really,
especially if you're using, like electronic drums, like you want something underlying that no one's paying attention to that's actually going to like humanize.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. I agree.
And no one's paying attention to bass necessarily unless they're a bassist, but they do pay attention to it, whether they realize it or not. So I don't know, like. Bass is important in a way people don't realize. It adds subtlety, especially when you're drunk.
I thought you were going to say especially when you're drunk, and that is true as well.
I don't know, man. Like, because when I'm drunk, I just want to listen to like The Cure, and their bass lines are just super repetitive and lovely. Yeah, they're
pretty
a different
great.
thing entirely. Yeah.
Oh, entirely. So I would say that this is the soundtrack that Little Nicky should have had. No, I'm joking. Little Nicky has an amazing soundtrack. I would never despair.
No, Little Nicky is pretty fucking new metal and sick as fuck.
Yeah, no, this is not as new metal as Little Nicky should be. But like something like that, like a comedy that's like about hell or about like badass stuff. Like this would be fun for that.
Yeah, because there's like the funk there, and that gives me like a comedic vibe. I could see that. I'd say it would actually be a good soundtrack to like an updated blaxploitation film, because there's like a lot of like funky stuff and it like stuff that feels almost like forced funk, and I kind of like that, like a white guy soundtracking a black film.
Do you like that?
I think
I'm not sure if we're supposed to like that.
I think it's funny. I mean, it's not like good. Like if Isaac Hayes did something, like it wouldn't be good.
It's not Funky Cold Medina.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, what is though? Like tone low.
That's a really good question. What is Funky Cold Medina?
That is what the fuck is Funky Cold Medina?
I think it's maybe an STD.
Is it?
Is it about chlamydia?
What?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm spitballing here.
I have no idea, to be honest. What the fuck is that shit about? We're gonna look this up now.
Sure.
More like Funky COVID.
I hate that. I hate everything about that.
But your Hannibal Lecter impression's pretty lame. It makes me go insane in the brain. Like that sticky weed.
Cold cool at a bar. I'm looking for some action. But like Mick Jagger said, I can't get no satisfaction.
He did say that.
The girls are all around, but none of them want to get with me. My threads are fresh. I'm looking deaf. Yo, what's up with LOC? The girls all jocking at the other end of the bar. having drinks with some no-name chump. When they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah, he did say that.
He did.
I mean, like he quotes,
is this the thing you take?
He quotes Mick Jagger, you know. So I'm assuming he's quoting the bartender as well. So let's just assume that's real.
Yeah. So this brother told me a secret on how to get more chicks. Put a little Medina in your glass and the girls will come real quick. It's better
holy shit.
than any alcohol or aphrodisiac. A couple of sips of this little potion and she'll be in your lap.
So is this about roofies? Yes or no?
Well, no, because it's something you drink. It's like a Spanish fly, I guess.
Okay.
It's like something you drink that makes you like more virile and like gives you a fucking huge ass boner. It fucking
yeah. So it's gas station boner pills.
Oh, exactly. No, it's that shit that like it like increases your blood flow just slightly. So if you're wearing like gray sweatpants with no underwear, all the bitches be like, "Look at that dick imprint." Like. Oh, this guy with the Funky Cold Medina is totally hanging out at a dive bar in gray sweatpants.
So instead of like 1000 Rhino or whatever, like we should make our own gas station boner pill company called Funky Cold Medina.
Or just gas station boner.
Yeah. 7-Eleven bathroom.
King Gizzard and the Lot Lizard.
It's a terrible joke. And I love the sentence gas station boner pills. Like I say it all the time. It's one of my favorite things.
It is. Like the fact that they still exist and people still buy them is amazing.
Yeah, there's an industry. I mean, it's like an industry of gas station boner pills.
It is. And it's like it's only for straight people though, because like oh god, what is that fucking shit that like every bottom the fucking
poppers?
Poppers, yeah. Poppers. So like poppers are like a gay thing exclusively, right? Like, do you know any straight person who's ever taken a popper?
No.
Yeah, there you go. But you know about them, and
I spend a lot of time on the internet. Okay, it's like,
yeah. Still, how did you stray that far into like sub-twink internet, Spenser?
That's a really fucking good question. I have
That's
no
a really
idea.
good question for you. I think
I was reading a Reddit thread about something and like people were talking about it. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I looked it up.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, poppers are like super interesting in that like they're an exclusively gay thing, but they're like a big thing. And like, you know, I've seen like people with just like poppers on them, and I'm like, God. Like,
are poppers like whippets? Like
kind of. So yeah,
sex whippets.
Yeah, basically it's like, I mean, it's not exactly like that. It's like I mean, they're like low key, like kind of like bath salts with smelling salts, and so like they give you this rush of energy, and like they also increase your blood pressure as well, which, you know, helps.
That just sounds uncomfortable. Like I hate it when I feel like my blood pressure is like,
yeah. I mean, it's like a mini meth kind of. It's like, you know, it's a thing, you know, and like meth and gay sex also go very well together, as the gay community has proven. I mean, I don't know about well, but like, you know, it happens a lot.
Yeah, peanut butter jelly, you know, meth and gay sex.
Meth is the Wonder Bread of gay sex, really. Like,
Street skirt, you're a fancy card. Street skirt, you're a fancy card.
Anywho, yeah, like them's the records. So like, let's talk about this. Let's hit the high point and our low point. I'll go first. You know, for me, my high point is obviously, I think that you'll probably agree with me, the second track on, the second album, fuck, I forgot the name already. Look up there.
Honestly, yeah. So I actually preferred the first track.
Okay.
On Look Up There, Golden Eyes. Like look up there, the titular track, the eponymous track,
if you will.
Was good. I'd say like for the first half though, like pretty much the entire second half of the song is a solo over, and I want you to go back and listen to it after I say this. It's a solo over the exact chord structure of the Stairway to Heaven solo, but one full step up.
All right, that is incredibly specific. I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
It is, and it's a given. It is one of the most tasteful solos of all of the Pikes.
Oh yeah,
and it reminds me of, probably the most of "Crack the Sky" off of "It's Alive," which has been one of my favorite songs so far, and it's like one of the most tasteful, like soaring songs.
I agree. That one was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally.
And then the song just fades out. Like it does like a very long fade out, and that doesn't do it for me. So like, sure. I really liked Look Up There as an album altogether, but honestly, I liked it most for the first 2/3 of the album.
Sick.
Look Up There kind of like mitigated it a bit for me. Like if it ended how it began, I think it would have just been like the golden album here, and it still is. It's still my favorite of the 6 so far.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
my personal low point, and I'm not too critical. I'm not necessarily being critical here, but there's a point in Underground Chamber. I want to say like maybe 2/3 of the way through. I didn't take an exact time down. I was driving at the time, but there's a point about 2/3 of the way through that album that just it devolves into Wheedly Wheedlies for like a really long time, and it's just too much. Anywho, so for me, there's a point during Underground Chamber, maybe about halfway through. I'm not sure exactly. I didn't take a note. I was driving at the time. I was actually going to pick up food downtown. But
wait, hold on. What kind of food?
Vegan food. Bullshit. I don't know.
But I don't know. Tell me about what you got.
I actually went to the Highline.
Lovely. I've got a
favorite metal bar.
I've got a fat gift card to there if you ever want to go sometime.
Yeah, dude.
My work gave it to me, and I haven't used it. And they gave it to me like 6 months ago.
It's pretty sick. Their fried pickles are something else. They're real fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Really good fried pickles.
They buy all of their TVP from us, like usually like 100 pounds every couple weeks. But it's been a while. I haven't seen Alan in a bit. Wonder where he's at.
Yeah. Anywho, I was picking up some food when I was listening to it. So. For me, it definitely like reaches a point, maybe about halfway through, where there's just so much pentatonic shredding. Like it's just, and that's fine. Yeah. It's not a bad thing, but it's just like, it's like very intensely fast pentatonic shredding for quite some time. Yeah. And it's like, I didn't hate it, but I was also like, man, Buckethead, like I've heard you do this a lot, and like you're doing a lot more of this.
Right.
It's going on for a very long time. I feel like in small doses, it's totally fine. It's like the style, you know?
Right.
But like in like very long chunks that are very like the same tempo, it's like it's a bit much.
And yeah, and I actually took notes on that. I think it was starting in part 4. It starts with a whole bunch of like fucking around on like kill switch and effects, and that's the first half of the song, and then it's just a big shreddy solo. There's some ambient backing stuff here and there, but it's mostly just a shreddy solo. Part 5 is just like a lot of double bass and D beats and a lot of shredding. Part 6 is a cool hip hop beat, but then it's a lot of shredding. And then part 7 is actually a decent dark ambient track, but then it's just a lot of shredding.
This is the shred, dude.
It's just October. So much under the shred October. Beautiful. Better shred than dead, dog.
Yes. Drop dead shred.
Don't tell mom the babysitter shred.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I get that though. It's like the first half of the album like was really promising to me for Underground Chamber, but after that, it like when it got into that shred territory, I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
So my big disappointment on these is actually going to be, like one of your favorite parts so far, like Look Up There, which was your favorite track of all of these. The second half of it actually like devolved to the point where I was like, oh, this went from being a really unique album into just kind of one of his other albums. Like the first 2/3 of that album is great. The last third is just another one of his albums. And it was kind of a disappointment to me. And that's it's cool that it's your favorite song, but no, dog. It wasn't my least favorite song by far. Like it was actually one of my favorite songs, but only because of the first half. And then the second half made me go,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
it goes on way too long. I mean, you're not wrong. Like,
yeah.
it definitely goes on way
Like
too
if it
long.
was a 20-minute album, it would be the best one by far. But
Sure.
because it's like 30 some minutes, it's
Yeah, there's definitely a point where that solo kind of like starts getting to a point where you're like, okay, we've heard this before.
yeah.
Yeah, it's it is what it is.
Yeah, it's it's
It
whatever.
is what it, so it goes, as they say.
Don't call me out like that. Don't have me going.
Yeah, I'm going to.
God, do we have any plugs? Do we have anything else we want to talk about? I actually wanted to mention one thing that I kind of meant to mention, like the call outs in the beginning. On your recommendation today, I watched Jojo Rabbit.
Oh shit, it's so good.
It is a wonderful fucking film. It is something I didn't expect. And the thing is, like,
it is very unexpected.
Yeah. A lot of people like told me like, hey, it kind of seems like a comedy, but it's not. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really internalize that. And I watched it and I'm like, this looks like a goofy comedy with Hitler. And,
It is
and given the
not.
first like 15 minutes, it definitely 100% seems like that. And so like during the first 15 minutes, I'm like, what? This is just a funny, like goofy Hitler comedy. And then after that, it got real as fuck.
Like so real.
So real, but like amazingly so.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's
And the guy who made it, whose name I will not try to pronounce, but also made
Waititi.
I think that's correct. Yeah, also did What We Do in the Shadows. Is just such a promising, talented fucking filmmaker, and the movie had so much to say. Yeah. And it said like I cried several times in the film, and I was like, wait, what? Am I fucking crying? God damn it!
Yeah, like I would not spoil anything, but there are definitely moments that are intensely real. Like,
no, it hit me so hard. And it's it's fucking important art. I would recommend it to everybthing.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Great movie.
Like, honestly, and anything whatever his name is, Wakiki. Anything he's connected with,
Waikiki.
like whatever, Waikiki Beach, whatever Waikiki Beach is doing artistically, you need to follow that because it's really good shit.
Oh, absolutely. Hugely important. Yeah, it's great. They're great. Yeah. So no, I would also recommend that. Lately, I've been rewatching Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's been pretty sick. I'm really into it, except for virtually every episode where Deanna's mother shows up.
Oh,
Lwaxana Troi.
Lwaxana Troi and her fucking tall ass Lurch motherfucker, who actually played the original Lurch. The guy who rings the bell. Yeah, God. They're the worst.
I watched one of those episodes last night, and like
there's like one every season. There's one every fucking season. It's crazy.
She is a recurring character.
No one wants it. What writer is writing for Lwaxana Troi? Like, he must be the worst. He's got to be the smelliest guy in the writer's room. Like, he's the guy who fucking microwaves fish at the fucking writer's room. Like,
absolutely.
No one wants
him.
him.
Elevator fart of a person. For sure. Like, you hate to see it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, like I was watching one of those episodes last night, and I was like, let me tell you, I was stoned to the bone. Like I was real messed up, and like I was laying there, and I put it on, and I realized what kind of an episode it was, and I was like, no, but I lacked the energy to change it, and I was like, it'll be okay. I'm just gonna ride this one out. You know? I did.
So here's the thing: if it's a Lwaxana Troi episode, I mean, even if it's the most bullshit episode ever, you get to see Marina Sirtis for like most of the episode, and it
looks really good.
That's a consolation prize, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a consolation. Yeah. Like
she'd be looking good.
She'd be looking real space Greek.
Cool, like the yogurt.
Yeah. That's how I describe Elenos to people. I'm like, yo, you want yogurt that's like space Greek shit? And they're like, what? And I'm like, you don't even know. It's like Australian space Greek shit. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't
even know.
I don't know what I'm saying. I ate way too much hash before work, dog.
Well, anyways, what I'm recommending is go watch an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. They're mostly good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Specifically seasons 3 through 6. Pick an episode, not a Geordi episode.
No, dude, are you kidding me? I love the Geordi episodes. Well, no, not the Geordi trying to date episodes.
Yeah, no, that's
which
what I mean.
I guess.
Forever Alone Geordi.
No.
Like my vibe.
Like Geordi personal life episodes are no good. Geordi being an engineer episodes are great. Like
they're okay.
When Geordi is like the crux of the episode because he's like smart and capable, but like, you know, feels bad about himself, that's great. But like when it's like, hey, Geordi just wants some pussy, and he's like, I'm such a nice guy to people. Why don't they give up that fucking pussy? Geordi, do I need to fucking just go into the hologram like Riker does? Like,
oh man, there was one of those episodes last night. In that episode I watched, like, oh no, it was the episode after that one. Like Riker, this girl like comes on to Riker, and then he for like complicated
lots
reasons,
of people come on to Riker.
He like can't fuck her, and so he's all frustrated about it. He's mad. He's like, tell the bridge I'll be in holodeck 1, and like storms off. It's like, oh shit, he's going to bait.
Like, my favorite thing about Star Trek is how much of a connection Riker has to the holodeck. Like, literally in season 1, they say that he's like the biggest holodeck expert in Starfleet, or on the ship at least. Like, dude's programmed some stuff, you know, like, and honestly, I think that's why I connect so hard with Riker. Is like, if I was second in command of a ship, I would be programming the weirdest shit on the holodeck. Like, I would be.
You're also the weirdest.
Hey,
you're weirder than Riker.
I'm also
it's okay.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like, and that's the thing is, like, I don't know, like, if it was a chicken or egg situation. Like, did I become sexually weird because I idolize William T. Riker so much, or is it just like a natural thing and I idolize him just because I'm naturally sexually weird? And it's, you know,
chicken.
I don't,
or the egg. Yeah.
No, I'm fine either way. Because, you know, there's people out there that are also sexually weird, so I get to have my fun, just like Riker.
Well, anyways, where can I find you online, Britt?
Oh, I'm at, you know me. I'm at the Queer Goth, and also at the Meme Scoop, SCUUP. Where are you at, Spenser Hodge?
I'm at New Metal Karate Society on Instagram. Instantgram, I believe. That's what it's called.
Oh. Yeah, this has been Britain.
This is Spenser. You've been listening to Getting Head, Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, Bucketheads.